Alrighty, guys, I'm back. So I wanted to go back and fix that because it said a project car roundup. That's gonna get confusing to people. So I am back. So, anyways, here's the heads I decided to buy. $500. And I want to tell you guys why I went this route. For one, I can use my factory rockers, which is what I want to do. I want to use my factory rockers. I'm not doing nothing to the cam right now. Just factory rockers, factory fucking valve springs. So with these heads, the guy said I could use factory rockers and have no problem. The problem with the Speedmaster heads is Speedmaster heads, you need to use their offset rockers because the way the heads are designed. I don't want to do that because that's money. And I am somewhat on a budget with this stuff. So that's why I went with these heads. The 440 source is what I would have liked to have had heads, but those were way out of my price range for right now. And they're still a cheap head, still a budget head. I'm not saying they're not. So that's why I went this route. Now, we're gonna make this kind of short, sweet, to the point. Um, this is our combustion chamber on those factory heads. This combustion chamber here, as you guys can see, it is, in my opinion, more close chambered-ish, more kidney shaped. So that should up the compression, give me a little bit more power, even though it's a motorhome. It's a fucking New Yorker 440. You're not gonna be racing anything. So here's the item description of what this is. So they're 84cc chambers, which I don't quite know if that's bigger or smaller than the ones that were on there. Intake runners are 210 cc's. The exhaust runners are 70 cc's, and the intake valve diameter, so the head of the valve, is 2.140, and the exhaust valve is 1.810. The valve stem diameter is 1132, 32, however you say that. Valve spring diameter is 1.55. Push rod diameter 3/8. Hopefully, we don't need different push rods. But if we do, now is a chance to do all this shit and buy all this shit. How's it going, Dennis? Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Figured out we're just gonna go loon heads on the charger and just be done. I'm tired of dealing with the fucking heads. So to bring you guys up to speed on the video you guys are gonna see this Friday, it's basically me up an exhaust on it, me putting a carburetor on it, then me finding out heads are junk, pulling the heads off, lapping the valves to find out that this is the outcome. So how that worked was we pulled the heads. We Before we lapped the valves, we put water in the runners. So in your intake runners. We fucking then we let that sit. The head started leaking out the around the seat. When the valve was nothing was done, the valve was still in its stock. So we were like, okay, they need lap. So we lapped them, did the same thing. And then dad severely lapped them and they still leaked. So at that point I had found a set of these 452s on Facebook for 75 bucks. Then I found these sets for 585 bucks. So what the guy wanted. I got them for 500 because I asked him if he'd cut me a little deal on them. He did. So I wanted to go Loon Heads anyways when the shit show started because for one, it's weight. You're gonna save weight. For two, it's gonna look so much better with aluminum heads, in my opinion, than cast iron heads. In my personal opinion, he's doing all right. Today was his birthday. Um, that's your main thing. Like, am I expecting to get hellified compression out of this and make this thing a racing just by putting a set of Chinesium aluminum heads on it? No. Hopefully, it makes you a little bit more performance, but I really don't care. What I care about is they don't have the same fucking issues with these aluminum heads as it did with cast iron heads. Is what I truly care about. According to the guy, now, according to the gentleman I bought them from, they will support about 500 horse, 600 horse, which I'm never gonna have the money to make that car or that engine in that car have. triple that or anything like that. So, and 500 horse, I think in that car would be God's plenty. 200 horse was fine in a Corvette that was half that weight. So that's just what I'm thinking. Now the guides are bronze. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. My first set of limit heads, so we're just gonna assume these are gonna be great. And if not, then we'll leave a shitty review and we'll go from there. But yeah, so this is what we went with. Now again, somebody's gonna say you should have went Speedmaster. You're right, but I didn't want to spend the $400. Now, find out on a later episode on this channel if that me not wanting to spend that money bites me in the ass. Because I have a tendency to do that. I have a tendency to spend the money and it bite me in the ass. Because I don't want to spend extra money on other parts. Like these heads right here. These are what I really wanted, but these were $1,600 and I didn't have that. So I couldn't afford these. But with these heads, you have to use a different, or no, these heads you don't. These are 440 source. So you can use your factory rockers on these heads with no problem. Plus, they look identical to a stock head because they got this little freeze plug here, and you could technically, if you wanted to, which I don't know why, a lot of people do this. I don't get it, but paint your own head to look like a still head. Now, let's see here if we can find the Speedmaster heads right here. So these heads were what I was going to go with, but then I found out you need different rockers, custom rockers to do that, and it might even say it in the item description here. Let's see here. It does have, I think it's got a bigger valve than the heads I bought. Let's see here. Where's Speedmaster? Yeah, see, this head has the Speedmaster has a bigger valve, a bigger intake valve. The exhaust valve is the same. Let's see here. Yeah, see, no, it requires offset rocker arms. Then they give you a part number. Those rocker arms are $349, and I'm not spending what would it be, $1,600 on a set of heads, which you can get these cheaper than this because you can buy them bare. Which is don't buy a set of aluminum heads complete and think you're gonna put them on your. Just don't do that. Buy your own valves, your own fucking springs, your own locks, your own retainers. Um, but there's no way I'm gonna spend over 15 because by tax time you factor in taxes and all that shit, 16, $1,700 on a set of heads, and then I have to spend another $300-400 on rockers. And then according to what I found many guys on here say, such as Twisted Mopar Garage, I think he even talked about having to grind these heads. Um, but the one guy that I know knows his stuff, and I had asked a buddy, a YouTube friend of mine, Battery Productions, and my buddy Jeff over at Mako's live stream the other night, last night, if he had heard anything about these heads, he forwarded me to Just Mopar Joe, who has done a recent video on these, and you guys know where to get all the information you guys want on these. They test it. They buy these heads loaded. They test the springs. They test all that shit, and I highly suggest you go watch it. Very knowledgeable guy. Very knowledgeable guy. Unlike the guy I first said his channel name. Just Mopar Joe knows what he's talking about. So it says the max lift that these springs will handle is 650, and I can't remember what Just Mopar Joe's their tester tested at, but they got the spring tester that they test all this stuff. So if you guys are going to spend the money, would I recommend these heads as of yet? No. I haven't touched these heads yet. They haven't arrived. They should be here. See, I ordered them last night or a couple minutes ago. They should be here around the 18th, so later this week. So at that point, we'll unbox them, we'll look at them, and we'll put out a video. But I do know that I'm going to need rotators for these heads because aluminum heads, you need rotators, and I'm going to need head studs, I'm pretty sure, which I want to ask a couple people here on YouTube. Have Dad send my buddy Jet Scott a text message because Dad's got his number and see if he knows for sure if I need to do this. And then I'll do some reading here and there to check all this stuff out. But they look fine. I mean, and again, we're not trying to make killer power. These have to be better than what was on there. Now, one thing I'm kind of concerned about and worried about, but we'll cross that bridge when we come there, is it dropping a guide? Because I read some horror stories with Speedmaster heads. I don't think 440 Source had anything like that, but Speedmaster heads, read horror stories of guides. Another thing the guy was talking about on a video here on YouTube was these stands, your rocker arm stands on the Speedmaster heads. They are cut way too short. So you kind of get like fucked up geometry here, even with their top end kit, which again, not slurring your company. I was going to order from your company. I'm not slurring your company. I'm just going off what that guy's video said. I mean, they're drilled out. The only thing I don't like is they don't have the bosses for this stuff. Usually there's a boss here and an indention. Like if we go to the stealth head, which is these, which is 440 Source, you kind of have that indention, which I don't know how that's going to work out. I might have to cobble something together for that, but we'll figure that out when we get there. I'm sure there's a bracket you can buy that goes here and here. But yeah, so these are the heads we end up going with. This guy has 100% positivity rate, which that's what I like dealing with people like that have that kind of rating. You guys can see here. This item, there's only 3 reviews, and it's just got to do with shipping and saying thanks and A plus. But it's got 100% positivity rating. He's been on here since January of 2009. So that's a good thing. And that's all he does in cylinder heads, which I'm hoping is a good thing. But so yeah, these are the heads we're going with. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I mean, 500. Here's what I've got in them. I'll tell you guys exactly what I have in these heads. I have a total of $1,200 is what I have in them. A little less than what. It's like $1,140 is what I have in these heads after taxes and shipping. That, in my opinion, is a deal. Now, will that deal bite me in the ass later down the road? Don't know. To be honest, that's a future Austin problem. I give a fuck less about future Austin. But yeah. So another thing I'm worried about is the factory heads. Let's see here. These heads here, if they're stock and he hasn't pulled them, yeah, they're still in it. Have these studs here, which I'm hoping I can pull out of the heads out there. If not, I'll buy some because to use them manifolds that I have, you have to use studs back here. That's just how they are. So I'm sure there's going to be problems we're going to run into here. I'm almost certain of it. But we cross that bridge when we get there. Um, so I'm probably gonna hop off here now. I just wanted to give you guys an update. That's what we're doing. Um, and yeah, hopefully it works out, and hopefully my first set of aluminum heads is a good experience, and we will see what happens. And I really appreciate every single one of you guys that subscribe, that watch this stuff. I'm sure he's doing good. That's a long story, buddy. Long story. So that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Check out my buddy Mako if you want to see some great reviews. Check out, like I said, Just Before Joe. He has a great informational video on these heads. Check out Fasting89. Check out my buddy So Bad Tree. Check out my buddies Scott Speed Shop. Check out my friend Busted Radio Garage and 2X Garage on here. And I will see you guys in the next one. I might do a project roundup tomorrow. I don't know for sure. So, that being said, as always, much love, you guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the best community I could ask for, and I really appreciate it.